I'm up and packed. I'm heading through Silver Forest now, and I thought I'd just stop at this and show you this place. This is called Thieves Dykes. Basically it's two parallel dykes that were, you can see they run down this way, and there's a path down the middle of them. It might be blocked off, it looks like it's blocked off, but what it is, they reckon it was Bronze Age, so it's 1500 years, like 2000 to 2500 years old, and they don't know if it was a defensive work or a border delineation between tribes, but they're called tumulus or tumuli, and they're based on a Germanic called the tumulus culture, which, yeah, I'm not going to get down here because it's all muddy. I'm not going to bother going down there, but it runs for quite a way. I think it runs for 100 metres or so. So it's probably the edge of a village, or it was also the boundary of some kind of boundary. Interesting nonetheless. I better get back to the bike. I don't like leaving it unattended. So this is the road the Tour de Yorkshire is going to be coming along about 4 o'clock this afternoon, and it's only 10 to 10 now, so I could possibly, rather than wait, I could go home. I could just go home and come back at a later date. But what we do have here that's really interesting are these more Thieves Dykes, which I'll show you over here. Oh. See, this is more these parallel banks and a ditch, which obviously when they were dug would have been much higher, and it continues on the other side of the road. So they just built a road straight through this ancient monument. But I suppose, you know, you can't, if you, these tumulus are so numerous in North Yorkshire, if you didn't farm or build roads through them, you wouldn't have any farms or roads, so you have to do what you have to do, I suppose. But it's quite interesting, these old Bronze Age dykes. So again, they don't know if these were boundary markers or to determine the edge of a tribe's property, or more likely, I would have thought more likely, there would be the extremity of a village or a settlement. Well, they might have demarked fields, but it's a lot of work to mark out a field, isn't it? You know, if you're just raising cattle. Anyway. Now, I don't know what to do really. I mean, I've got like 6 hours to kill before the Tour de Yorkshire gets here. I don't know if I want to hang around for 6 hours. I think I'm just going to go home, and I'll come back later. To further augment the hobbitiness of Whisperdale yesterday, I'm just heading down this bridleway right now. It's not much of a bridleway, but it's sandwiched between two headlands, this one, and this goes down into the valley. I'm going to show you a lime kiln that apparently is down here. This headland is called Flockrake Noddle, and this headland is called Noddle End. It doesn't get much more hobbity than that. Well, I didn't find any lime kilns, I must have gone down the wrong bridleway, but I did find a field of sheep and lambs, which is pretty cool. Because they're so cute, aren't they? It's quite a good view as well. You can see all the way to the castle at Scarborough. Pretty nice. Very rural. When they're looking at me as well. Don't know what to make of this bicycle. So that was the Tour de Yorkshire. Watching that kind of reminded me that there's a certain amount of animosity between cyclists and motorists. And it got me thinking a little bit, because before I started doing all this stuff about 5 years ago, I didn't know any animosity existed at all. I didn't know animosity existed before I started browsing cycling internet forums to learn about equipment and stuff. I have to say, I think I was a little taken aback at the time, because I think I tend to have a bit of a broader perspective, one where we're all in this together, flying through space on the same rock. And I think this is from spending time on the road, because when you're on the road for a while, you start to determine what's real and what isn't. And motorists raging against cyclists and vice versa isn't real. I don't think so anyway. They're not really mad at the cyclist. I could understand slightly annoyed at the cyclist committing some minor traffic infraction, but enraged? Nah. I think that means there's something else going on with the motorist. And I think this kind of raging is likely about the insecurity of the rager. Perhaps it's the only way they get to act out. The only vent for life's frustrations. And there's a lot of them, not least of which being unable to live the way we evolved to. We didn't evolve this way to commute between a desk and a couch and to be spoon-fed entertainment from corporations specifically set up to keep our minds off murdering those who exploit our labour. And why do we need to be entertained so much? Is it because we have nothing else to occupy our downtime? Because we have downtime? You know who doesn't have downtime? Nomadic hunter-gatherers. They've always got stuff to do. Even sitting around the campfire in the evenings, because their skill sets are so broad and diverse. They didn't have Netflix and chill. They had flint tools to nap, and cordage to weave, and clothes to make, and shagging to do, and then of course children to teach and play with. I was actually thinking about this last night when I was camping last night. I was staring into my campfire, and it's the first one I've had for a long time. So I had a good long look into it, and it occurred to me that perhaps the reason we get so hypnotised by fireworks is because it reminds us of staring into the fire, like some deep genetic thing, but buried just below the surface. And as the occasional spark flicked off into the night sky, I considered that that's perhaps how we explain stars to each other, the sparks that don't die out. Anyway, I can understand the motorists getting mad at a cyclist holding them up if they're a surgeon racing to a hospital to save a dying baby or something. But if it just means you're going to arrive at your destination a minute or two later than you imagined, raging at a vulnerable cyclist just means you're not a good person. At least you're not acting like one. That's all there is to it, and the same goes for cyclists, who, if the evidence of YouTube is anything to go by, are just as bad. Only their consternation at a near miss has a lot more weight because their life is on the line. There is a theory that rage is so prevalent while driving because we're moving at such unnatural speeds. We become hyper aware of the danger, so we're constantly at a high level of alert, a high level of agitation. The flight or fight response is there, right there at the surface, ready to be triggered. I think there's something to this, and couple it with the lack of venting for our aggressions and frustrations, and you get that powder keg of road rage. That's why it's very important that we have hobbies and sports to serve as a release valve. And if you find yourself getting mad at another road user for a minor traffic transgression, it means you're not doing it enough.